Hi, everybody. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 114. Today we're going to talk about why can't I sing songs as good as I do the exercises? Has that happened to any of you? It's happened to me. I'll tell you a little story about that in a second. So this is one of the things that causes us great consternation. Is that we do the exercises and they're brilliant, we're just great on the exercises. And then all of a sudden, we try and apply it to the song and it just goes south really fast. So I know that would never happen to you, right? Okay, so anyway, hi to Dania Romero. Nice to have you, and you're there the very first today. So there's a solution. There is a solution. It's not really mysterious. There's a solution to this dilemma of what's the difference between doing the vocal exercises and then applying it to the song. You can sing high notes in the exercises, but when you get to the songs, something happens and they just like fall apart. And this things start cracking or breaking or we start going flat So there is a solution to this. And we're going to talk about that today. KH, hi. Kay, nice to have you here. Robert Kirk, nice to have you here, Robert. Happy New Year to all you guys. It's been a week now. It was last week. We did a broadcast number 113 on New Year's Day, so it was kind of fun. Aman, nice to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. So I get this comment a lot that everything is going okay with exercises, no problem. I can do them really easily. But when we get to the song, it's just not working. So we want to discuss that a little bit more today. So I'll share this I'll share my confession with you. Okay. Many years ago, I bought cassette tapes and a program. It's called Singing for the Stars by Seth Riggs. These are called cassette tapes for those of you who don't know what they are. So I bought these back in end of 96 or the beginning of 97. And so for like a period of I had a chance to study with one of Mr. Riggs's teachers here in my area for about 3/4 of a year. And then they eventually moved out of town. And so I lived my life with my tapes. I just listened to them all the time. Hey, Marty, nice to have you here today. So let me just get this comment. Marty says, I have to try singing new songs to break bad habits after practicing exercises. What a great point that is. Maybe we'll circle back and talk about that. But, we get muscle memory on our old songs that we do, right? And so we may know how to do them better in the exercises that we're doing. But then when we go back to the old song, muscle memory kicks in and we do it the old way. Well, so I had been I started fast forward this years later. I mean, I listened to this so many times. Now I've gone and bought the CDs now and the new book, but in this original book, I had purchased it so many times, or I listened to it so many times in the car, and so I got so used to Seth Riggs' voice, and so I just like loved it, and it was helping me and all the wonderful things. Well, fast forward to a number of years later, in 2009, I started teaching full time, and then in 2011, in January, this is the time of year, exactly this time of year. I think it was like the 3rd of January 2011. I went to LA and I booked out an hour with Seth Riggs. And so Yeah, I was just very excited to be there with Seth. I had been studying with, I can't remember if I'd had another lesson previous to that time with Seth or not. But at the time, we were in a certification program for speech level singing, and I only had to, I mean, I was required as a lower level teacher, I was required to study certain numbers of hours every month and every quarter every year, but I didn't have to do that with Seth. And Seth was, quite expensive, and he was working with the upper level teachers. But anyway, so this may have been the first time that I actually had a one-on-one with Seth, other than some time that I had previous in a number of years, like in 1997. It had been the summer of '97. We were in LA, and I took my family, and we studied there with him went 2 days, and I'd been with him in some workshops and things like that. So I'd been around him, and I may took a lesson from him at one of our national teacher conferences. But now I was like really in the groove. I was progressing through the teacher program, and I wanted to be impressive, right? And so I had a the first 30 minutes, like awesome. I remember Seth saying, "Well, Chuck, I'm trying to trip you up, but I can't do it. I can't find anything you can't do here." So he was just really, really pleased with what I was doing vocally, and I was excited. So we had the last 30 minutes. We were just going to work on some songs. Well, I had selected a song which was way at the top of my range, and guess what happened, you guys? It went awful. I could feel it right off the bat. I couldn't keep I couldn't keep my mix going. I kept falling out of the mix and out of head voice, and my larynx was coming up, and it was just not going well. Vowels were splatting, and anyway, so we got through. I don't know if when we finished the song, quote unquote, here's what Seth said: "Well, I don't know who's letting you do that. So how would you feel?" There you are with, I was there with my mentor, idol, teacher, I wanted to be impressive. I wanted to show him I knew what I was doing. I wanted to be, and I had that experience. Well, that was a real wake-up call for me. And I went back to work, and I got things fixed. And but I just want to let you know. And so here's here's the interesting part of the story. I wanted him to sign my paper. In fact, I think, let me see, if I swing this thing around here, if you look up here on the wall, right up there on the top left, right above, that's me, a picture of me, and yeah, as Captain Hook. But then right up here is a picture of that day. I don't think I had a picture with Seth, and so I wanted to have a picture with him. I wanted him to sign my book, and so, and I'm just sharing this with you to let you know I've been there. I know what you're going through. He said, for Chuck, this is January, it says the 31st, 2011. For Chuck, you're doing a great job. Careful on the application. It could knock out your fine scale work. Well, I mean, this has ended up being the best thing that he could have written for me. I was hoping he'd say, Chuck, you're brilliant. What a great singer. It's so great to have you as one of the teachers. No, I flubbed up on the song, and the song was love changes everything, and it's pitched quite high. I mean, that's at the time I was trying to be a tenor, and I can do it better, much better now than I could then. But it was a challenging song. I had a high, I think I had a high B flat in it, and anyway, so I've been there. I've experienced it, and I know exactly what you're experiencing, and I know how to help you. Okay. All right. With that long story in mind, let me get a couple comments here. And Robert Cook, good on you. Marcia, hi, Marcia, nice to have you here today. Narul, nice to welcome. Thank you so much for the video. You always make things so easy to understand. Great, thank you. Robert Kirk says, do you travel overseas? Would you come, say, to Moscow with your master class? Sure, yeah. Are you in Moscow? Are you in Moscow? Robert Kirk doesn't sound like a Russian name. If you're in Moscow, Robert, what are you doing over there? Waffles for days. Chuck, if you still break into falsetto above Chuck, if I still break into falsetto above E5 with the goo-goo, gee-gee, and no exercises, what should I do? I would probably recommend not going quite that high, waffles for days. I realize that. So let me just pause here because Waffles for Days has been working on this and I'm corresponding with him on my website. But if I said goo 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 goo, that's. I'm not sure how often you're going to need to sing that high. Typically on the guys that I work with, even on the tenors, maybe on some very high tenors, I'll take them up to their second bridge, or rather up into their third bridge, which is the E flat or the E5. But I think that if you stopped at the C sharp 5, you're not going to lose any benefit and you won't be cracking. And then work that second bridge. Rather than your third bridge, work the second bridge. And do it on, you can still do it on gee, gee, gee. Gee, 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 gee. Goo, 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 goo. Now, if for some reason those are breaking, it's because the larynx is coming up. And so I would do it kind of stupid, all right? Goo, 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 goo. Or gee, 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 gee. And impose the larynx down, and that'll keep that from breaking into falsetto. But of course, you don't want to sing that way. And so as soon as you can, try and get to normal. Now that's the C sharp 5, and I think that's completely fine. You don't need to go up higher than that if you're a guy. And even the girls, for a while, that's the beginning of their second bridge. It's, just when you're first starting out, stay where you're going to be singing, first of all, and stay where you can do it, second of all. And now in the first and second bridge, particularly, so for the guys, this is the top of the first bridge, the A flat. If you're cracking there, go really dopey, and that'll help keep the larynx down. Now I've got some 17-year-olds. It's still pretty hard for them to do that. 16, 15-year-olds, but for the adult male, our voices now have should be changed well enough that that it's doable for us. All right, moving on. Robert Kirk. Who's Seth? Seth Riggs is Michael Jackson's vocal coach. Was Michael's coach for a number of years, and he wrote a book called "Singing for the Stars." Okay, and everybody that was anybody in the day, and he's still teaching. He's 80. I've lost count. I think he's 87 or 88 at this point. I'm probably getting that wrong, but Michael Jackson, Natalie Cole, Bette Midler, James Ingram, Julio Iglesias, Janet Jackson, Stevie Wonder, just, name after name. Quincy Jones would send him his people because he did such great work with Stevie Wonder and then with Michael. And so Al Jarreau, just Madonna, Whoopi Goldberg, worked with her and get her ready for a film she was doing. Just anybody. Josh Groban, he got Josh Groban ready for David Foster. So anyway, that's Seth. And he's the creator of speech level singing, and just a master teacher. But he figured out a way to get into head voice. That's what just revolutionized my life. I mean, I was stuck at E flat, E above middle C. I couldn't sing above that, and Seth figured out a way to help all us guys and ladies get up into head voice without cracking or breaking or pulling up the chest voice. Okay, so yeah, in this case, Seth Riggs, correct. So Robert Kirk says he lives both in Moscow and Australia. Wow, Robert, what an exotic life. That's pretty cool. Two Chucks Highest, nice to have you here with us. Okay, so let's get down to some business here. And the business is, well, first of all, how many of you guys have experienced, am I alone in what I'm describing here? How many of you experienced this? Have you had an experience where you're able to do the exercises just fine, but then you go to the song and it's like blah? I think Marty kind of referred to it. He realized that he needed to actually choose songs that he hadn't done, that muscle memory wasn't a part of things. Let me know, yes or no, in the comment section. Maybe you're all, more advanced than I was when I was. I'd actually had years of the technique and so forth. Maybe it's because I was with Seth and I was nervous. I don't know. That's not an excuse. Shouldn't be an excuse. Has it happened to you? Yes or no? There are several reasons why this happens. And we're going to talk about why it happens. We're going to talk about how to fix it. And it's not really that complex. And so the primary reason why this happens is that in the exercises we're pretty much on the same vowel, at least for the scale. So if I said no, 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 no. So I'm doing no, no, no the whole time, and then go back up. We change it to ma 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 ma. So we'll do that whole series, but they're all in the same vowel. Imagine if the exercise was like nay, 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 no, 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 ma, ma, ma. Yeah, I mean, if you had to do all of the things, in the same exercise, it'd be really too complex. Well, so we get used to doing one vowel in the exercise, and we get that down. But even the vowels have a method to their there's a strategy behind the vowels that I use, because I'm going to use a vowel that's going to help you be successful in the exercise, so you build the confidence that your voice will perform there. So that's why I go back to Waffles for Days and say, stay with what is working He says my range goal is to be able to sing up to the G5, and so should I just keep working on my first bridge until I get better at that point? Yes, I think that's an excellent observation. Waffles for days, and it's a good thing for all of us to do. Be successful in the first bridge. If you're successful in the first bridge, the second bridge unfolds to you. Then become successful in the second bridge and the first bridge. And as over time, when both of those bridges are really solid and intact, what's going to unfold is the third bridge. Now, for us guys, unless, maybe the high tenors, we're really not going to be spending a lot of time in the third bridge. Pavarotti, I maybe heard him do a D once, which is just through his second bridge. But the high E, once in a while we get up there, maybe sometimes, there was somebody the other day I heard, one of the old rock groups jumped up to in falsetto on the F, the high F. So maybe some of the high tenors and some of the high rock stuff, you might use some of that in the third bridge. Get the first bridge down first. All right, but that's not explaining what it is that causes when we get into a song, we have all these words coming at us and all the pitches jumping around, whereas the exercises are very controlled. Same vowels. We don't go, we're kind of going in a logical progression. But in the songs, the melody's all over the place. We're down in chest, we go up to head. We're in the middle, we have to go back up to head and back down the chest. And every single word is different, and the vowels will go from narrow to wide. And before you know it, we're toast. So that's probably the primary reason why I failed. The secondary reason is probably just as important, and that is I had not really solidified my mixed voice, my head voice and my mixed voice in the bridge and above the bridge yet. I hadn't solidified them so that I knew the feeling all the time that I had to maintain. Before that, I'd fall in and out, in and out, in and out. The vowel would spread, I would fall out of my mix. So let me illustrate that. If I said, I can't remember which, well, it must have been around B flat, I guess. There was part of this song, well, it was love changes everything. And so love is an interesting word because it spreads very easily when you get into your bridge. So if I said, love, you've got, over a period of time, you begin to realize what it feels like to be in the mix or in the head voice. And so immediately identifying that feeling of being in mix, you would never open the vowel like I just did. I wouldn't say love because I'm just spreading the vowel, and although I'm doing it fairly decent, it's pulling the chest voice and the larynx is hiking. So I've got to narrow the I've got to narrow that slightly. Love, love, love. So I know by the feel that I'm in mix there. Love, 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 love. And that's the B flat, which I think I did it, but I don't. There's all the other things in between that were falling in and out in that song. Love changes everything. So if we are not really familiar with the feeling of the mix and the head voice, then we may not even be in that while we're singing. We might be love, 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 and then we crack, or crack earlier. So anywhere in the bridge where a more open vowel is, and that's, I guess this is point number 3. We need to know where our bridge is, where the mixed voice needs to be. For, let's just say for us, for regular, a baritone and a tenor, that would be the E, F, F sharp, above middle C. Anything above F sharp is in the head voice. So if you're singing a song and you've got music in front of you, you want to be able to know where those notes are, whether they're in the bridge or whether they're in head voice, and we need to be aware of the vowel. So if I said, if their song was love could never ever let you be the same, something like that, love would never ever let you be the same. I'm probably going to get shut down for singing commercial music, so I probably better stop that. YouTube doesn't look too kindly on that, and I'm sure that Mr. Gosh, you can help me with this. The gentleman who, drawing a blank, you know, the author of Phantom of the Opera and Joseph and the Amazing Dreamcoat and all of those different things. Andrew Lloyd Webber. I'm sure that Sir Webber would not be appreciative of me doing his music here over YouTube. So lest I get a major copyright strike against me and they shut this thing down, I got to stop doing that. So let me just point out that you need to know where your bridge is, and you need to know where your notes are landing in the bridge. That's number 2. And number 3 is you need to understand the vowel and whether it's going to spread or whether it's going to be your friend. So love, tends to be an open vowel. And so I've got to take that and take it down to So if I said love, 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 chest, love, tickled throat, love, sorry, love. Now, love, once I'm in that place, I can get more towards the normal sound. Love. But ladies and gentlemen, it took me some years to be able to do that. Now, love is a narrowed vowel, and it keeps me in my mix. Love is an open vowel, and that spreads. It pulls the chest voice and hikes the larynx. And if I keep doing that as I ascend, la, I keep pulling it higher, la, and bad things happen. Not only that, your voice gets hoarse, and if you sing that way a lot, then you'll be in trouble. So those are the reasons why the vowels, because of the vowels, because of the changing pitches, because of their location, that is in the area of the bridge or in the head voice, and all of those things combine to knock us out of the mixed voice or knock us out of head voice if we don't understand that stuff and if we're not aware of it. Okay, so Rachel, hey Rachel, nice to see you. It's kind of late over there, isn't it? Or later in the evening? So nice to have you here. Omar says, hi, Professor Chuck. Well, hello, Omar. Hey, Smoochy Poo. Nice to have you with us today. Rachel's from the UK, and I haven't talked to you for a long time. How can I get my lower notes below the G4 to sound as good as my higher notes. My speaking voice is a bit nasal, and this is reflected in my low notes. So Rachel, so the G4 is the G above middle C, so that'd be the F sharp, the F, the E, and the E flat. Rachel, I'm going to guess that what you're really talking about is probably the F sharp, the F, especially the E and the E flat. Do you find the same thing even lower, or are those the ones that really give you trouble? Let me know that, because I've seen this repeatedly in a lot of my female singers, that and good for you that the G is feeling pretty solid. For a lot of my singers, the G, F sharp, F 4, and the E4, E flat 4 are just so tough to get the voice, the complete voice in. Let me know, Rachel. I'd really be interested in what, or is it all the way down to the bottom? I'm curious. Okay, so a couple comments. You guys are having good discussion here. Looks like Stevie Wonder he is a natural tenor. I'd say so. Michael, James Zimmerline Retro, natural tenors. They don't need to nay, nay, nay. Actually, I've heard a recording of Michael. I think I heard him doing nay, nay, nays. Robert says, why then did he learn speech level singing? Okay, I'm out of that loop there. I don't quite know what. Okay. Chuck, some people call it reinforced falsetto. I don't. It's either, are you pregnant or are you not pregnant? You're either falsetto or you're not falsetto. Are you reinforced pregnant or, no. So it's either there or you're not there, in my opinion. So I'm either disconnected or I'm connected. I'm either in falsetto or I'm either in falsetto or I'm in my head voice or mix or whatever. So I don't know, Robert, about the difference in throats. I can't answer that. My sense is there's not any more difference between black and white than there is white and black, and it's just from person to person. The anatomy is such that, in my home, there may have been times that I sounded like my dad because he was my dad, and some of the genetics, I maybe have the shape of his throat or something like that. So, or my brother and I might sound alike. I have daughters that sound like each other. I don't know who's talking in the room next to me when they're all here, because they all sound alike to me. Why? Because they have similar genetics and similar bony structure and so forth. And the differences are just as, from family to family are different. So, okay, Rachel says, just following up on this, depends on how intense I am singing, but generally C4 to the F4 area. So, so let me answer Rachel's question here, because it's something that a lot of female singers face. And so, Rachel, I'm of the opinion, and I've actually heard Seth Riggs comment on this too, and it was his opinion that the G, the F sharp, the F, is time to get firmly into chest. And that, and he was commenting that there are some genres and some teachers of certain genres that encouraged their female singers particularly to bring in the head voice too early, and that made those notes that you're talking about here kind of smooshy, kind of I don't know how to describe it, just not firm. And so what I have found that I have to really work, the voice in chest in order to get the solidity in those notes that you're talking about. And so one way to go about this, Rachel, might be this way. Nay, 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 nay. And I would exaggerate the nay, nay. I'd go a little nasty on it. Nay, 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 nay. That tends to get the voice a little bit deeper into it. True, it's slightly elevated larynx, but you're not pulling the chest voice. We don't want to pull the chest voice up. We just want to get the firmness of the chest. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, nay, nay. Oh, I'm way down low. Now, if you can't go that low, you know what? Just let it fuzz out in the bottom. Nay, 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 nay. Nay, 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 nay. So you want to be kind of have the opportunity to bounce on those G, F sharp, F, E, E flat. Now, another thing you could add to it, you can do it two different ways, maybe both. You could say na 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 na, and again go a little bit on the bratty side of it, a little bit of the harsh sound. Na 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 na. Now you can exaggerate it, Rachel, until you start to feel it kind of settle in. Get away from the bratty, exaggerated sound as soon as you can. Na 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 na. Now that's a great exercise to do on those octave repeats. The third thing you can do is both. Nay, 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 na 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 na. Doing witchy, doing bratty for a little while. Nay, 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 na 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 na. And then try and get normal. Nay, 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 na 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 na. Give those a try and see if they help you get into the voice a little bit more. Now here's the other thing, Rachel. There are some songs when it makes more sense based on the words and the song itself and what you're doing, you may want to pull your mix down A flat, G, maybe even the F sharp. It depends. But I think if you worked your voice like this, like it was like you're working it to get chest there, all the way down to the middle C if you need to. Now, you can also do this one, the 5-tone. Nay, 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 nay. Na, 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 na. And so forth. That in that area, that zone. All right, so Daniel is to Robert. Reinforced falsetto is very much like a light head voice. It all depends on the terminology from the different vocal methods. So true. Daniel always offers a voice of clarity. It's kind of by definition, you know, it really is, varies from technique to technique. I can even connect falsetto into chest and head voice, so some voices simply break the mold. Yeah, Daniel, I've actually learned that if I can disconnect, but if I really drive the larynx down, I can connect into. But how could I sing a song like that? You know, I couldn't do that. I could do an exercise like that, but so I haven't been able to connect from falsetto to connected tone while I'm singing, but I can do it in an exercise. Okay, so a comment from a commenter: a good singer should have full control of his or her voice. Light, heavy, firm, breathy, etc. Like how Demish sings. Demish. I don't know Demish, but yeah, I agree. As singers, we want to go for this full control. Let me just make sure here. Let me just say that on these vowel modifications, it really fixes. It really helps. If I had to say, say, if I were singing say, I don't know why, but say, actually there's a Lady Gaga song right now, I think, that might have a high say in it. You take the say, S-A-Y, and narrow it to S-E-H. Say, say, rather than say. Now, so say to say, S-E-Y, see, see, and it just helps you bring that vertical head resonance, allows it to come in, or the vibration, and you start getting a mix of the chest and head, rather than just, well, that's the G, so it'd be basically all head voice. But if I were down here on the F, say, see, so just by taking A to E, or E8, S-E-Y, S-E-H, say. I don't know if the Irish really say say, but that's one of the things that says, like you're from Ireland, say. You from the UK would know better. Okay, PJ Prince says songs. Wow, so much info. I'm a soprano who needs coaching. Okay, I hope this is helpful to you. Rachel, definitely do this. Thanks so much. Rachel, so good to hear from you. Hope everything's going well for you and your family. Happy New Year to you. So, okay. So to summarize this, what time is it? 1:45 almost. When we sing songs, we've got to be aware of where they fall in our bridges. And so if it's in the bridge or above the bridge into head voice, then we know we've got to be aware of the vowel. If the vowel is an open vowel, like love, then we want to take to love, and that's going to help us stay in our mix or in our head voice. And I'll demonstrate that for you one more time. Say, love, Chester, mix, love. So even if we just use that to get into it, love, and then and slightly opened it, takes some time to get that, because the temptation is to say la, and then open it up, and then you crack. So it takes some practice and some skill and some time to be able to get it that way. In the meantime, narrow it if you need to. Most of the time, the audiences aren't going to be able to tell you're saying love and not la. It'll all sound correct to the audience. Obviously, we can't over-narrow things, or the audience won't. It'll be too obvious, and the audience won't buy it. They'll say, "Well, he said love, love." So you can go overboard on narrowing. Look, narrowing does one thing. It modifies the word enough so that when you sing it in the bridge and in head voice, it comes out sounding like you say it. That's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you to say the word to sound like it is when we talk, because we don't say love, and yet when we sing love, that's how we're cracking and breaking and pulling chest. La la. So the idea behind narrowing is, number one, to help you stay in your mixed voice or head voice, and number two, so that when you're singing it, when it's sung, it comes out sounding like you speak it in its normal fashion. Love and other words. If I said, you would never sing bat, 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 but I would narrow at bat. All right, well, let's take a look at this. Michael, and this is an example I've used before in my videos. Michael Jackson sang a song, Bad, and he sang it up here as, I think it was like the high C, bad, bad. And he actually, I've heard Seth talk about this, he actually got hoarse doing some of this. And so Seth worked with him on all of his songs to make sure that in every place there was a possibility of pulling, they took the vowel and narrowed it down. If you go listen to the chorus of "Bad, Bad, Bad" by Michael Jackson, bad, bad. He's not saying bad, bad. There's a little bit of eh in that ah, and that allows him to do it without pulling. Hey, Paul, nice to have you here today. I was wondering when someone was going to mention Demish. Great singer, but I question whether he can sustain that long term. Is he a puller or something, Paul? Just wondering about that. Majesty Joshua, hi. Can you please demonstrate nasal singing?
Well, I'm not sure what you would like to know, but I could sing love, love. So I could jam any sound into my nose that I wanted to.
So the sound goes by the nasal cavity, but it
Shouldn't go into the nasal cavity.
so that's, and a lot of times it has to do with the larynx coming up. So if the larynx is down, everything's open, then there's not going to be there's going to be much less possibility
Of the sound going up into your nose.
So, Majesty Joshua, do you have a problem with nasality? Is that why you're asking? Caesar, hey, nice to have you here today. Thank you for joining us. I just listened to Mario Lanza for the first time last year. Very impressed because he has not been shown on TV like other singers. What could you say about him? A wonderful singer. I have not had I haven't studied him and I haven't listened to a lot of his music, but from everything I know, I think he sang really well. He may have gotten into a little vocal trouble, if I recall, once, but I think he was, quite an amazing singer. So thanks for bringing that up. All right, now. So one of the important things to know is, well, do you tend to pull your chest voice or not? If you tend to pull, then I guarantee you that this is something that you want to be focused in on when you're singing songs, even if you're getting better. That's my tendency. I tend to pull. If I start messing up and doing things inappropriately or wrong, that's how I default. I'll start pulling or spreading vowels or something like that. So it's really good to know your vocal type. If you don't know your vocal type, down below in the description below is a PDF you can download. It'll take you to a vocal type test. It'll take you to videos about your vocal type. It'll take you to exercises you can learn for your vocal type that we're going to help you to bridge, to help you get into your head voice, get rid of the falsetto, get rid of the pulled chest, get rid of the flip and the crack and the breaks. If you're light chest, no chest, then there are going to be exercises to help you get the vocal cords more firmly together. And that's in the PDF. You can download it below. It's got links to all of that, all of the exercises, and it'll save you a lot of time. Just take you that long to get it. And then we need to wrap it up here. Waffles for Days. My last singing lesson, I got up to the E5 and exercise. My teacher got quite impressed. So that's why I'm asking questions about F5 and higher. Congratulations too, Waffles. And I'm guessing that that's something you couldn't do before. I know you bought the course Sing Higher Than Ever Before. It sounds like that's coming true. Be patient. It will come. It's more of a novelty for me because I would never sing up there. But, if I said, that's the G5, and I know people could do whistles like off the charts, but I think it's more of a novelty than really useful, at least for me. Joseph Padilla says, tenor to baritone, is it possible to cross-train range? Yeah, sure. A baritone is a kind of a bass with the tenor notes, and so in all of our voices, once we get our first bridge down, that's the first area that we need to really transition from chest to head, then we can add the next bridge, which is about a tritone above that. And a tritone above that's the third bridge. And for the ladies, there are going to be times where there's another bridge, there's a fourth bridge. And so it's one of those things that as you get more and more experienced, you want to move on to the next bridge. Because whole song I'm telling you about is actually in my third bridge. Because I'm bridging down below middle C now as a basso. So because I can easily vocalize down here and I have some heft in my voice, I've come to realize that I need to bridge where the basso cantatas and the basso profundos bridge. So now E above middle C is my second, and the A above middle C is my third, and the E above that's my fourth. And so, and the G is all the way, G5 is all the way through my fourth. Everybody, all of us have these different bridges. Majesty says, I have actually been using your free exercise for over a year now. Awesome. Okay, so it has changed my voice totally. Well, good. I mean, hopefully for the good, right? Paul Goins, regarding Dinesh, I'll send a link. It's worth taking a peek. Basically, it's a surprisingly wide range. Sounds quite impressive, but at least once a doctor told him to lay off on the high notes. Good. Yeah, thank you, Paul, for sharing that. CB, hi, CB. Nice to have you here. How do I stop the yodel from my first bridge, from chest to head voice? CB, take your vocal test. Find out what you tend to do if you pull the chest voice or if you're flip falsetto, and do the exercises for your vocal type. It will help stop the yodel. The yodel is a and that's just it's flipping in and out of falsetto. And so usually that means that we have to get the larynx up and go from wide to or narrow to a wide vowel and so forth, and that'll cause the yodel, the flip, the crack, the break. But it's absolutely possible to get control of that. So download that PDF, take your vocal test, then get the exercises for your vocal type. Sounds like you might be pulled chest, high larynx, because that causes the flip. Edwin Redondo. Hi, Edwin. Erwin Redondo. Nice to have you here today. My vocal type is pulled chest, high larynx. Is it okay if I practice mixed voice? You know, once you get that down, Erwin, if you can do those exercises and you're getting through everything well, then by all means, if you're mixing now as a result of doing the pulled chest, high larynx, those are the exercises I use. I still do pulled chest, high larynx, and I do mix exercises. So the exercises you're doing in pulled chest, high larynx are kind of beginner mix exercises. They're going to help you start the bridge so you're not cracking and breaking. So the next logical step after you kind of master those is to move on to mix. CSI. Hi, CSI. Nice to have you. You mentioned knowing our first and second bridges. I wish I knew what you were talking about. Do you have a video about bridges? Yes, CSI. If you'll go to powertosing.com, on the far right menu, there's a magnifying glass symbol, which is the search. Just search what is a bridge or bridges, vocal bridges. And there's a bunch of videos on that. I've done a lot of them. I also have a course. You can if you register, if you put your name and if you email address on my website, I have a course called Sing Higher Than Never Before. The first module is all about the bridge. And basically what CSI is asking is, what's the bridge? This is where we start the transition from chest, low voice, if I don't do something, it's going to break. Well, I used to think that was the end. It's not the end of my voice. It's not the top. It's just the transition. It's the bridge. It's a passageway. The bridge is a transition passage area that goes from chest to the head vibration. And so we don't know what it is, and so it until you begin to learn about it, you think it's impassable. It's not impassable. It's possible. Impassable? Impossible. An impossible impassable. An impossible impasse. And so it's absolutely doable. And it's located for the guys, the tenors and basses, E, F, F sharp above middle C. That's your bridge. And so there is a way to get through that CSI, and your whole singing life will change for the good. Robert Kirk said, I've never heard, say, James Ingram singing head voice, or Lionel, or even Quincy. I don't know if Quincy sings. He's a big producer, though. PJ Prince songs, how to sound connected as a singer. Same thing, PJ Prince. To sound connected as a singer, you want to first of all learn how to do the bridges. And so get that PDF down below in the description. It will take you to the vocal test. It will take you to exercises for your vocal type, which is going to be either pulled chest, high larynx, flip, falsetto, light chest, no chest, or mix. There's some people who are actually mixed, very few, but there are some. And there are exercises that are going to take you through the bridging process. That's what's going to connect you, your tone. So instead of saying, ah, disconnected tone, so there's 2 octaves through two bridges, and it was all connected tone. And I never could do that, you guys. I was 43 years old when I found out I could do that. And also, let me just say, and we got to go. I will be releasing a course on vibrato. Vibrato is something else. I was told if you didn't have it, you weren't born with it, you don't have it. And I wasn't born with it, but I learned how to do it. And I'm preparing a course that for a lot of people who wasn't born with this natural vibrato, it's gonna help you get your vibrato and get you going. So, gosh, let me just finish off this waffles for days. When I got up to the E5, and my teacher used we exercise, what are your thoughts on that exercise for flip falsetto like myself? I think it's a great exercise because you can kind of lean on the E sound. Wee 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 wee. I don't know what's wrong with me. That's the high A5. But it's connected. Yeah, Brian McKnight definitely has a E in Back to One. Robert, I was trying to remember his name, but that's him. He sings the high E. Pretty cool sounding, too, I have to say. Thank you, CSI. Robert, let's see, remember the dude? Oh, I don't know. I don't know that. Just once? Okay. I did my best. Caesar. Will the baritone always be a baritone, or the voice can change as long as we aged? You know, it may deepen as you age. I think mine has gotten deeper, but also my larynx has come down. So it might not be it might be a combination of some aging and the fact that the larynx is staying down. You'll get a voice with more resonance in it. And I just don't know the data on that from a scientific standpoint, so I can't answer definitively. But hi, Chuck, should you be able to do riffs and runs, agility, automatically if you have good technique? No, I think you do need training on that. I do. I would say that you need some training on it. But yes, you should be able to learn it just fine. Hi, TJ. Thank you. Nice to have you here today. Didn't know if you were online or not. And Jorge, George, thank you guys. Thanks, everybody. Hope this has been helpful. And again, Happy New Year to you all on this 8th day of January 2019. And to all of you who have joined us later, I hope you're having a good year. And Remember, you can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. It's happened to so many of us, and these are the things that are going to make a big difference for you. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. Thanks, and I'm going to exit out of this.